On hot summer days like this one, Toby the tram engine always takes a small carload of 4 freight cars up the line to the next stations. Toby loved his job. It was more enthusiastic, and there wasn't any trouble with the job at all. Toby would always trundle along with a happy face, and he would always enjoy the tracks. On the other side of the tracks, on the other side of the viaduct, was a little line that Toby liked to call the Midnight Quarry. Toby loved that place. The quarry was filled with many workers and happy faces all around. However, Toby didn't know about the legend of the quarries, which he was about to learn today. One day, as Toby came in, there was James, waiting for the next trucks. Oh, I just adore this part of the line. Brings back a lot of memories of my old line, back in Augsburg. I can see that, but maybe you should just avoid coming back here. The quarry manager says it's about to close. Close? Why? Said Toby. He was really surprised about that one. Driver says that there's been a legend of a ghost haunting the line. A ghost? Said Toby. Yep. The ghost was of an engine that ran along the line, up and down the hills, without anything happening to him. Nobody knows where he came from, or what he's doing here. But whatever he's doing here, he has a very upset look on his face. Toby then became a little bit scared. His driver then interrupted. There is no such thing as ghosts. I never saw one in my life. Come along, Toby. James is probably telling nonsense again. Don't say I didn't warn you, said James. And Toby set off to shunt the cars into the siding. Soon the trucks were shunted into place, and Toby set out of the line just to make some room for James. The trucks are all clear for you now, James, said Toby. Well, be careful the ghost doesn't get you. I've heard him that he gets a lot of steam engines. And James set off back the line. Before Toby was going to see anything else, the yard manager appeared. What's all this about a ghost? James says that there's a ghost haunting this little quarry. I'm afraid it's true then, said the manager. It is? Yup. Millions of years ago, he started, there was an engine that worked in here. He didn't have a name or anything, for he only had a number, -19. Back then it was my father who ran this quarry. Back then he ordered a private engine to run the lines up and down and side to side. That's where -19 came in. He hated the quarry work and wanted to wander out the line on his own, but that got the better of him. One day, it all changed. His driver and farmer weren't there to control him in the cab. What happened next, no one knows. He started off by his own and ran into the express line. but there was a truck in the way, along with the express coming down the line. The next, there was a crash. Millions of people were killed during that accident. And -19 was in pieces. They hadn't had any money to mend him, so they buried his parts in the quarry. Now every night, or every day, you can still hear him whistling down the line, maybe behind a few trucks, on the day of his accident, February 4th, 1957. But what day is it today? February 4th. I'm afraid. Oh no, said Toby. Come along now, Toby. There's no time to listen to silly ghost stories now. Actually, we're gonna need you to stay here for one more night before the quarry closes. Really? Said the driver. Yes. We're expecting a big cargo load before we even close the quarry. Is it okay if Toby stays for the night? Sure. Anything. So it was settled. Later, papers were written for Toby to stay during the night. Toby was a bit concerned. What if -19's ghost comes? Botheration, Toby. -19 isn't gonna come at all. He's probably fake. There's no such thing as ghosts. There may be on this part of the line, said Toby quietly. They then heard the engine coming in to pick up the train. He coupled up and set off back down the line. Over the noise, Toby could have sworn he saw something before the trucks. Dawn approached. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. No noise coming from anywhere, and no workers coming in. At last, the quarry was closed. Toby was a bit concerned. Where exactly did they hide the engine's parts? He asked. They said that they hid the parts of the engine inside the mine. Buried deep in there, said the fireman. Please, said the driver. There's no such thing as ghosts. You're probably being fooled, Toby. Who knows, said the fireman. It could be real. Then why don't we see for ourselves then? Why don't we go inside the old mine and see for ourselves? I don't know about this, said the fireman. Let's do it, said the driver. They then lit up Toby's fire and slowly began to pull him off the line. They switched the points, found a turntable, and then set Toby up down the line that was leading towards the old mine. They crunched through bushes. Until they made it to the old mine. The driver and fireman then climbed out of the cab to see for themselves. Then they got a massive shock. The parts to the engine were still there, rusted out, and completely covered in grease. The legends were true. Suddenly, Toby swore that he heard steam hissing out of a cylinder. There isn't supposed to be an engine at this time. And how come there's an engine here when the quarry is closed? They then heard it again. Suddenly, out of nowhere, there came a humongous steam whistle. Toby backed up as fast as he could. The whistle was loud. It was like there was another engine inside. It's probably another engine coming to take down the rails, said the driver. But it wasn't. Toby reversed a little bit. It was like another engine coming in closely. Suddenly, another noise came. This time, puffing pistons. Toby shivered as hard as he could. It can't be! But it was. Toby kept shivering, like the ghost was coming close. Who are you? Who's there? He cried. The noise came louder, and louder, and louder, and louder. It was like something was following Toby. Suddenly, out of nowhere, came an engine. A black engine. -19 on its side. And he looks coldly at Toby. It's -19! Cried Toby. The engine stared coldly at him. Called the engine. Toby was so scared he didn't know what to do. The engine stared even more coldly at him. Like he was going to tell him something, but he didn't. Toby then rushed backward as fast as he could. But the engine didn't follow him. He wanted to go as fast as he could. Suddenly, Toby came off the rails. The engine stared coldly at him again, but nothing happened. Instead, he closed his eyes and disappeared in the wind. Toby was shocked. But then before, Toby, what are you doing here? Said a voice. Toby looked up. Standing in front of him were both the manager and Ace. What are you doing here, Toby? Why are you on the ground? Ghost train, said Toby. He felt really scared after that thing. The next day came. The day the quarry would close. Everyone knew that it was the saddest day ever. This quarry holds a lot of sad memories for me. Some good, some happy, some sad. May God be with you all, said the manager. Toby felt otherwise, but he didn't want the quarry to close. But as he looked to his last look, the manager got on board Ace, and they raced away. From the other direction, he could then hear James coming back with some coaches for the workmen. Toby felt really sad. The quarry would meet its end at last. The driver and fireman then said goodbye to the workmen that they used to know as friends. They got on board the train, and nothing was said about it again. Looks like it's the end for us, Toby. But at least we'll still be alive on the island of Sodor. It's too bad for this quarry, though. I wish we could do something about it. But they couldn't. The guard blew his whistle. Everyone climbed in, and they said goodbye to the precious quarry that they once knew. It's hard-working. Time for us to go too, Toby, said the driver. Toby frowned and said, "May God be with you, old friend." He then set off slowly down the line, away from the quarry. The quarry now stands in a sad place, abandoned and sad, almost like a ghost town. Nobody ever came back to the quarry. Soon, they went bankrupt. All the companies that used to know the quarry were closed. Brandon Docks now needed to get more rock from Farquhar now. Although you can still hear it, they still say that you can still hear engine number -19 looking at this lost quarry as it was lost forever in dust. But fortunately, the quarry would come back. Nobody knows when, but that's another story.